And let me talk a little bit about the program and who we are. So basically the Rapid Response Landlord Tenant Mediation Program came about because Ashley Kirkowitz, our county council member, and also my Zonta sister, and Kehau Costa of Hawaii Island Realtors were talking story about their concern about pending evictions and business closures, and they were wondering what could be done. Maybe we could do some kind of ombudsman program and get something going. And then they're like, well, what about the mediation center? Let's call Julie. So Kehau called me on April 13th, it was Monday, and said, hey, what do you think about this program? And I'm like, yes, I want to do it. I called up my colleague, Eric at West Hawaii Mediation Center. He said, yes, want to do it. We called up Hawaii Community Foundation. They said, yes, we want to sponsor it. So we had seed money to start this program. So what it is a free program that allows commercial and residential landlords and tenants to have a free mediation services countywide via Zoom mediations, teleconference, or telephone right now. And then of course, as we start doing in-person mediations, they can sit down face to face. Let me give you a little bit of backstory, but I think a lot of you know who we are. For those who maybe don't remember, I'm just gonna tell a little bit about our history. So Kuikahi Mediation Center was founded in 1983. West Hawaii Mediation Center was founded in 1988. And we are the only island that has 2 nonprofit community mediation centers. So we partner together a lot. It's really great. And we're also part of a coalition of 5 nonprofit community mediation centers in the state. And together we contract with the state judiciary to handle referrals from district, family, and circuit courts. And we provided these services for over 3 decades now. We're trying to resolve conflict quickly and formally for a lot of people. With this program, we're trying to resolve conflicts before they end up in court, because of course the courts are closed right now. We have this vision that when the courts reopen, they're going to be slammed. And we know that after the Great Recession in 2008, those next two fiscal years for us, which is the same as a state fiscal year, we were slammed with cases. We got credit card cases, debt, we had divorce cases, we had landlord-tenant cases, we had mortgage foreclosure cases. I mean, it was just our largest caseloads that we have records for since we became our own nonprofit organization in 2006. So our mission is to empower people to come together, to talk and to listen, to explore options and to find their own best solutions. And to achieve this mission, we offer mediation, facilitation, and training to strengthen the ability of diverse individuals and groups to resolve interpersonal conflict and community issues. And our tagline, our goal, is finding solutions, growing peace. So last fiscal year, jointly, the 2 mediation centers, we had opened 82 landlord-tenant cases. So this is something that we normally do. Our professionally trained volunteer mediators, they're well-versed in facilitating productive dialogues and mutually satisfying solutions between landlords and tenants. So when this public health crisis came up, both of our centers said, yes, we're going to keep providing mediation services. We had to pivot quickly to make remote mediations possible. We had to train our mediators up to how to become Zoom proficient. We had to write up manuals, how to do DocuSign. We had to do quite a few things to get us ready to be able to help people. And we've continued to get court, attorney, community referrals from people because, you know, they're at home, people are stressed, there's still conflicts going on wherever people are. And so our mediators are now trained on these new technologies and also on the landlord-tenant program to meet the need. We luckily were able to partner with Kehau again. We were able to partner with Legal Aid to do a 3-hour training for our mediators specifically on this program. So we know there's a lot of confusion. There's these state and federal proclamations, including moratorium evictions. So the latest one that just came out, it extends the eviction moratorium until June 30th. Obviously, that was moved before. It could move again. The federal moratorium on evictions for federally backed programs or mortgages has a federal moratorium until July 25th. And there's a 30-day notice, so people can't be asked to leave until August 24th. However, there's a lot of confusion about this and what it means. So on Legal Aid's website, it says that rent is still due and accrues and is owed. If you do not pay your rent, you could be evicted at the end of the moratorium, or you can try to work out a payment plan with your landlord. And that's what our program is trying to do. Let's see if the landlord and the tenant can sit down and work it out. So we did, in conjunction with West Hawaii Mediation Center, a 4-year foreclosure mediation pilot project, 2012 to 2016. So we know firsthand that people who are in arrears can really get overwhelmed. They can bury their heads in the sand once they fall behind on monthly housing payments and other debt accrues like credit cards, car payments, and then late fees and penalties are piling up. So the Rapid Response Landlord Tenant Mediation Program, okay, wait, hold on, let me see if I can switch my slides here. I want to move. Ah, there we go. Your faces were covering my little button here. Okay. Sorry, technical difficulties. So what our program does is it's encouraging both residential and commercial landlords and tenants to communicate now to discuss hardships, possible temporary rent reduction, community resources like what kind of rent and utility and mortgage assistance programs are there, and or payments plan. So what's our concern? If renters misunderstand the moratoriums and pay no rent until the moratoriums lapse, several months rent is going to accrue, and this is going to result in what's considered like a proverbial balloon payment. And so let's say you have April, May, June, and July rent are unpaid and rent's $2,000 a month. That's going to be $8,000 of accrued debt at the end of 4 months. And with 37% unemployment plus a depressed economy projected for this coming fiscal year starting July 1st and probably beyond, the likelihood of renters being able to pay off large debts is low. So our goal is to prevent mass evictions overwhelming our communities and courts once the moratoriums end. And we want to help educate our landlords and tenants about how to avoid such disastrous outcomes. It hurts renters, it hurts landlords, and it hurts businesses. Okay, so our program will provide conflict prevention and resolution services. And it started on May 1st. We had a soft opening with a press release, and then we have been recording radio interviews and radio PSAs. So you're going to start hearing those on the radio. We have our ad came out for the first time in the Sunday paper. They have excellent half-page ad prices right now, by the way. And so we want to encourage frank and productive dialogues. We want to do that early and often. So we know landlords really can't afford to lose good tenants, especially given that vacancies may be difficult to fill with so many businesses and residents in dire financial circumstances. And we also know tenants can't afford to owe thousands of dollars in back rent and then be faced 3, 6, or 9 months down the line with eviction proceedings, awards for damages, trying to get garnishment if there's anything to garnish, ruined credit ratings, bankruptcy, and or nowhere to live or work. So our mediators are normally present every day in district court. Our parties are referred to mediate on site by the judge. Right now the courts are closed, so we're getting our referrals in a different way. But from doing this, we see firsthand how early discussions could have prevented later misunderstandings and averted the need for legal action. So court costs time, multiple hearing dates, missing work, it costs money, court filing fees, service fees, attorney's fees, and it causes a lot of stress, especially for those who are unrepresented. And this has been going on for a long time and the pressure is building, and they just, you know, a lot of people are very intimidated by going before the judge. So the Rapid Response Landlord Tenant Mediation Program, I'm going to keep trying to go through these slides, even though they're not totally timed with my talk. It's a proactive measure to address problems now on the front end. So for example, right now we've got clients who come to us since this program opened, that April and May's rent are already due, and now we're coming up with June is going to be due. So how can we address this on the front end now? And this is very different than addressing it later after the situation has escalated. Positions are entrenched, people are not talking to each other, and then legal action seems like it's the only option. So mediation is looking for a common ground, a win-win solution for both the landlord and the tenant. So both are our clients. We want to try to help people negotiate positive outcomes and provide education and available resources to assist landlords and tenants. So I'm going to show you our website in a minute because we have a lot of great resources on there. And I think what I really, hey, Mary, are you willing to share the other thing you shared with me about a couple people you've referred to mediation? Will you give some examples?
Okay, sure. One situation was the commercial property where the tenant wanted to, try to work something out with the landlord, and just, was trying to talk to them, and they weren't being very receptive. And then I told her about this program, and so she went through the program, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she's moved to a new location. So that was kind of, so I don't even know the end of that story yet. But when I told her about this program, she was just so relieved. She said, "Oh my God," and then I saw her again 2 days later after she talked to Kuikahi, and she said with tears in her eyes, "Mary, they really listened to me. Someone cared what I had to say." And that, I think there's that fear of the unknown. And then I have an owner that owns 3 rental houses. She likes all of her tenants. She owns one of the houses with a brother who really likes his money. And she's kind of the property manager for the family. So when all of this started in March, she voluntarily told all of her tenants, "Don't worry about April. See what happens with your jobs. And then we'll get, and then now here May has rolled around and she hasn't heard from any of her tenants, nor has she received any rental income. So she's worried that, she's still willing to wait, but she didn't know. She contacted me to see if I had a form she could fill out. And I said, "I have something better. I have Kuikahi Mediation. They'll help you create a form or whatever needs to be done. They'll get the conversation going." I haven't heard back from her yet to know what has happened. So, but then just yesterday I was talking to someone who's a renter, and they do some odd job work for me sometimes. And they hadn't said anything to me previously about paying their rent, but they said, "Hey, did you hear about this place you can call and they'll help you talk to your landlord?" And I said, "Oh yeah, you mean the mediation?" He's, yeah. Now I can brush my teeth without feeling shame of seeing my face in the mirror. So whatever Kuikahi did for him, he's a happy camper.
Thank you, Mary. I think these stories are important because they don't know how to talk about money sometimes. They do feel ashamed, or they feel frustrated. It's like, if there's silence, what does that mean? And sometimes we make up all these stories in our head about what other people are thinking or what their motivations are. And the amazing thing about mediation is when you get down and when you're able to sit down with someone or talk to someone who's really listening, it helps you clarify your own thoughts. It helps you share where you're coming from and see where someone else is coming from, and see if you can come to some kind of a meeting of the minds, because there's a lot of creative solutions that are available during mediation. It's really different from court. In court, basically the judge is going to be the decision maker, and the judge's job is to rule on the law. They're not allowed to bring in all sorts of other things. They have a narrow focus. Mediation is different, whereby the mediators are not like the judge. The mediators don't decide what happens to the parties in mediation. The mediators facilitate the process, so the people who are sitting there themselves decide what's going to happen. It's going to be up to each individual landlord and tenant to figure out how they want to resolve this for themselves. And the mediators can encourage a creative process whereby we don't have to focus just on the law. Yes, there's a landlord tenant handbook. We hope people follow it, and we know people don't. So if they're off of that, we can still come to some kind of a solution, as long as it's not illegal. We can write up and memorialize whatever agreement they have. So if there's a lease in place, we can create a modified temporary provision to account for what's going on right now, or we can help them change it completely. Let me see about the rest of my slides here. I'm almost done. That's our contact us. These great slides. We're so lucky. Ashley used to work for Barbara, who I see is on the line, and she has this great design sense and helped us create some of these slides to put on social media and for advertising purposes. as an in-kind donation to us. And also our other donors we want to thank are County of Hawaii, Hawaii Island Realtors, West Hawaii Association of Realtors, all put forth initial funding. We're not, neither West Hawaii nor Kuikahi Mediation Center, who are both having our own funding streams, have reached our number that we need to fully run the program. So that's why we are going to your foundation to ask for additional funds. The most important thing is to get the word out to the community, because if people don't know that this service is available, it's not going to be utilized. So we're trying to really get the word out. The rapid response part is that when people call in, they get to be at the front of the queue of all of our mediations, intake that day, reach out to the other person right away, ask them if they would like to participate. If so, trying to schedule them as quickly as possible, because we know that rents are coming and there's deadlines on leases that we want to make sure that we are honoring. And then also to create the program, we also reached out to our friends at Hope Services and Daylum Rentals and Management to just get their feeling on, do you think this is a good idea? Would you use this if people referred? Would you refer people? And they all gave the thumbs up. So it's free of charge to any commercial or residential landlord or tenant in Hawaii County. And we are trying to mitigate the economic impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. We want to prevent mortgage defaults, evictions, homelessness, due to all the economic situation and health situation that's going on right now. So I don't know if I have anything else to say. I'm going to take, here, wait, hold on. I do want to share, let me stop this share, and I'm going to share our website. Let me try share somewhere else here. Okay, here we go. Because I tried to before today's presentation. So you can see across the bar on top, we have the program. You can get it to it from any page. And then we have a lot of information on here, letting people know the benefits of it. We also have the information for our case manager, the phone number and the email. Also, we have the forms available, the intake forms here, depending on what kind you are. And then this is what I just added yesterday. If you want to hear more about the program, I loaded our PSA radio ad. We have a radio interview with KJ at KWXX. Kaea at Kappa. We did a Sherry Brackett interview, 30 minutes. I think it's going to air this Sunday, but you can listen to it here in our full press release. So if you want to learn more about our program, please come see this page. And then we also, of course, mahaloed our sponsors, and we have a call for giving if people want to give to this program. And then, the resources. Now, these are cool. So if anyone wants to, if you want to like us on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, then you can do so. If you have your own pages, and you can just share from our pages. But if you want to get the social media images, including the set I just shared, you can go here. They're on the Google Drive. The presentation that Kay Howe from Hawaii Island Realtors is here. It's just 6 slides, really good information for what everyone can do to think. And then this resources list, which we update regularly, it has a lot of great resources about rental assistance programs, landlord tenant information, mortgage forbearance information for landlords who might be having trouble making their mortgage. It's got a lot of good information. So please check out our website, hawaiimediation.org, and the special landlord tenant page. And now I will be quiet because I think I am supposed to also be taking questions. I don't know how to unmute everyone. Are you going to unmute everyone?
Thank you. Thank you, Judy. I will unmute everybody. Thank you for your talk. Okay, I unmute everybody. Please ask questions. Take questions.
Yeah, Julie, I have a question, Julie.
Hi, Art.
This is Art. I know the landlord tenant thing is a very good thing. However, do you also assist the landlords that have mortgages that are not under these federally protected programs negotiate with their lenders? Because, you know, it doesn't take a pandemic. At the bank, we always used to tell people, call us early anyway. But, you know, if you're just talking with the tenant and the landlord, then the landlord has to go and negotiate with their particular lender. So do you assist them in that phase as well?
That would be a separate issue, and we could definitely do so. And on the resources page on our website, there's a link to forbearance programs. It's a page and it lists all the different lenders and how you contact them about forbearance. We were shared that with Hawaii Island Realtors. It's a great resource. And we're happy to invite the lenders to sit down and have a conversation. Sometimes our experience is sometimes they will and sometimes they won't. The local lenders, yeah, the local lenders, yes, they will always do it. The big banks on the mainland, they only did so during our foreclosure program with the sort of judicial hammer ordering them to do so. I think, you know, if you can get a live human being on the phone who's willing to sit down in that negotiation and make a personal connection, that's a higher success rate that we noticed when we were doing the foreclosure mediation program.
Okay, thanks, Julie.
Sure. Who else
I have
has
a question.
questions?
Do you have a lot of ongoing cases right now, landlord tenant?
Is that Richard?
Yes.
It's very hard to see everyone. You have to look around in all these spaces. Yes, we have, I think we, between the two centers, I think we have about 20 cases happening right now since we started on May 1st. So that's about one per day. And we're about to have this really big radio blitz. So we're anticipating getting a lot more, which we want because we want to help people now. So we're trying to really get the word out. So anything you do, if you can share our social media posts, steer people to us, we really want to help the community. The goal of this program is to help as many people as possible.
Yes, it looks like you're doing a really good job.
Thanks, Richard.
Hey, Julie, this is Tim. Congratulations to Kuikahi and all your amazing work, of course. I was curious, what about landlords that live off island? How do you, are you able to assist those negotiations in some way?
Absolutely. If the landlords live off island and the tenants are here, we can completely do it. We've always made video and teleconference available. It's just most people have preferred to come into the office. But if someone did not live here, we've been doing that normally. We would have that one person would be in the office and the other person would call in or video in. And so, and right now, since we're doing everything remotely anyways, it's very easy for people to participate from wherever they are. And this will continue to be an option even when people come in. But some people, you know, we've had a couple of people who've been to our center before, or they just are waiting until they can do it in person. They really want to be there with the person. So however, it's very client-led and client-driven. So the client's desires and the client's needs are very paramount for us to decide how they want to handle it.
Hi, good morning, Julie. This is David. How you doing?
Hi, Dave.
Hey, you know, one of the things we're concerned about is that we think the more impact is going to occur at sometime latter part July, moving into August and September. I think, unfortunately, especially our state and county governments think as soon as they let us go back to work, the pipeline will start flowing as far as business revenue, which unfortunately I think is not going to be the case. Is there an opportunity to work with businesses to try to be proactive, to let our people know that now is the time, if you think you may be having an issue, maybe contact people. We anticipate the next 6 to 12 months to be pretty rough. And unfortunately, as a business, we believe that furloughs and layoffs are just the tip of the iceberg. We hopefully it doesn't happen, but this additional 30-day delay, I think, sets us back another 90 days as far as any type of revenue recovery. And I got to tell you, you know, the issue of being able to continue to offer medical and what have you, it's getting pretty tough. I mean, we're eating through our cash reserves quite significantly. And I'm quite sure that we're not the only ones.
I know. Thanks for sharing. I know it's really, these projections are so difficult. All of us, including our nonprofit, we look forward and go, what's going to be the future? How are we going to help everyone in our community, our businesses, our employees? So we do all kinds of mediations. So this is one type that we saw where there's a need right now. We handle lots of different kinds, job-related, workplace. We've mediated between employers and employees, between employees, business to business. We get referrals from the Civil Rights Commission if an employee feels they've been discriminated against based on protected class. We'll mediate between the business and the employee. So we're neutral third parties that are available in almost any situation. So we're happy to help. And Dave or anyone else who wants to give me a call later and talk more of your ideas, please do. My number is 935-7844 extension 5. That's 935-7844 extension 5. I'm happy to talk about privately with people about what they might need and how we might help, because in addition to mediation, we do group facilitations.
Julie,
Yes.
this is Alan Okinaka. Hi. In the negotiation to come to a arrangement between the tenant and the landlord, are there a bartering of services? You know, like a tenant doing some yard work or building maintenance or something like that. Do they do things like this?
Absolutely. We're never. I'd say. Well, actually, I wouldn't say never. I said I'm never. I never predict what the outcome of a mediation is going to be anymore, because I can't tell you how many times I go into it if I'm the mediator and thinking, oh, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, or oh, I think it's going to go anywhere and I'm completely wrong. And then they come up with some amazing solution that I could never have thought of in a million years. So yes, all kind of work trades are available. It might be, let's see, someone might come in and say, I'm interested in keeping my tenant, or I'm having my tenant move out. I'm interested in terminating the lease. I want to modify the lease, or maybe we can talk about some rent forgiveness and some rent reduction. Maybe we're going to talk about some rent forbearance. Maybe in a commercial situation, a landlord might say, I'm going to give you an advance. And basically it'll be like I'm not going to have you pay any rent for 2 years. And that's basically the landlord's giving an advance on rent, which is a loan. Or people could do work trades. I mean, the options are as open and as possible as the brains of the people who are there. So we're open to any creative solutions that people want to come up to make this happen.
Do you know if the discussion about liability insurance comes into the discussion when, for instance, if somebody says, I'll do the yard work to pay for part of my rent or something like that, does the landlord provide the insurance, or how do they handle that?
Well, they would have to do a little research and decide, because as neutral third parties, we can't give advice. We can't give legal advice or tax advice or insurance advice. So if that came up as a question, we would say, oh, if I were the mediator and you asked that, I would say, oh, that's a great question, Alan. While you're waiting and we're talking to the other person, do you think you could give your insurance carrier a call and see if that would be covered under your homeowner's policy or under your business policy, so that we could come back to that discussion after, when we come all together?
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Time is up, but I have one question, one quick question. You are applying for our community grant, and we are a service community organization. So not only donating money for your project, but also we have very young people, young members willing to help out. Do you have any idea that how you can utilize our workforce?
Oh, could we use some workers? Well, we're not like a, Hawaii Island adult care where you could go in and paint their, paint their place. We don't have that. One thing that we do have that's going to be coming up is doing a mailing to all of our, list. So if people wanted to come in and help with the mailing, that would be the next thing that I need, like a bunch of people to come help with, to our supporters and people who've been in our program before. Unless people want to come in and clean our office, that's always needed. It hasn't been done for 3 months, really, because nobody's allowed in. It's like we're locked in here, just 2 of us, and one person's working from home. We're all socially isolated in our own offices. So that is another possibility. You're asking me to do something off the top of my head. Those are the 2 I can come up with off the top of my head. I'll think further to see if there's anything else I need.
I think about the orchid show and also your annual dinner, if those are happening as opportunities for volunteering.
Yeah, we're still not clear about our annual fundraisers, which would normally happen. And we definitely do need volunteers for those whenever those should happen. We could definitely use help on those. Thanks for reminding me, Tim. And also we always need volunteer mediators. So in the fall, we do our basic mediation training, and it's a 4-day training. And then after that, we ask people to come in and become an apprentice mediator and then volunteer. It's a big commitment. And it requires continuing education every year. But I don't think Rotarians are afraid of big commitments.
Okay. Thank you very much, Julie, for a nice presentation.